Welcome everybody to the podcast. Welcome to this episode. I hope all of you are having a fantastic day, morning, night, whatever it is that you're doing. I hope you're learning something new. I also hope that you're progressing in a particular area that you're mostly excited about. And going on with that, I'm actually excited to bring someone who's helped me a lot, just like in the past with just building stuff, and even to this day has been helping me just with advice, business ideas, and more. Her name is Lyric Allen, and like I said, I met Lyric, gosh, I want to say it was a few years back. It's kind of crazy how time flies back, but it was a few years back that I met her, and she was helping me on a previous project. It was, just with an app, and she was just very awesome. She was just communicating with me, talking to me, letting me know, hey, this is your idea, but this is, this is this. How do you want it to look like this? And she was just talking and communicating to me just like perfectly throughout the whole process, because it was just very new to me. I'm like, I have the idea. This is somewhat of the visual. And she just was awesome. But I know I can continue, but I'm going to stop there and I'm going to let Lyric introduce herself. So, Lyric, if you can, let us know who you are, what it is that you do, and something just interesting that we don't know about you.
Okay. Thank you for having me on. First of all, I'm a piece of mind, aka Lyric Allen. The story he was talking about when I met him, it was funny because the first time we ever actually saw each other, it wasn't even in person. Remember, it was actually on my platform, on my
Mm-hmm.
piece of mind platform.
Yeah.
And I had told your aunt when I met your aunt, your cousin, because you were getting the app at the
Yeah.
time, because I had an app company at the time.
Yeah.
And your aunt was like, "You never met Thaddeus?" Well, I was like, "No, we
No.
talked on the phone, we text." I said, "I met you before I met him." She was like, "Wow." I thought it was kind of funny
Yep.
that, and so here we are again. Again, thank you for having me on.
Mm-hmm.
Again, I am a piece of mind, Lyric Allen. And what I do, I build relationships while simultaneously impacting lives.
Love it.
Now, when I say that, a lot of people look at me crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Um, when I'm with my business partner and I say that, she starts laughing because they look at me crazy because she already understands. So it takes certain individuals to understand, to really make sense of what I said. Building relationships while simultaneously impacting lives. So, meaning, I'm that individual. I have no problem meeting individuals, meeting complete strangers. Good example, I have a lot of social media platforms. I'm on a lot of social medias, and all I do is network. I set up a profile. I have these interesting questions like, if I were to give you $1 million today, what would you do with it? Give me 3 words to describe it. What exotic animal would you be? And I get people to participate. So when people participate in those, it creates a conversation. So when you're having these conversations with people, individuals, you begin to ask more questions. What is it that you do? What is it that you're trying to do? So I'm that type of person that I like to see what is it. I'm genuinely interested in what is it that you do?
Yeah. Yeah.
What is it that you're trying to do? And I asked a lot of questions.
Mm-hmm.
I asked a lot of questions. So in that sense, I make a lot of people comfortable. Like I could talk to a person, I could meet a person, and they can, their first time on the phone with me, they could sit and talk to me for about 2.5, almost 3 hours. By the time they get off that phone, I would know pretty much their whole life story within those 3 hours because you make it feel comfortable. So I'm that person that listens, sit down and listen. My business partner, she always let me deal with the people first before sending them to her. So I'm like that first, that front person, because she don't like to deal with people.
Mm-hmm.
I could deal with people. I know how to handle with people, but then it also comes with discernment. If
Mhm.
you have discernment, you can feel the energy of people. I know you're a big energy person,
Yeah.
but yeah. So let me stop there. I'm gonna let you continue. So I don't know what
No,
questions you may have.
continue. Like that was good. Continue. No, like I love that. Like you're like how you said, just you can sit down with a person and really just know their life story. And it's funny because the more, how can I put it? The more that like she said, so taking it back a little bit. So we have, it is funny, we have yet to meet in person,
We
but
still haven't.
we still
Yeah.
have not met in person. But and for the life of me, I don't know why I thought Lyric was like out of the state, which I think you no, you're actually closer to me than I think because I'm in Palm Beach. So you're
I'm in Gardens.
yes. So okay, so guys, to translate that, she's literally 10-15 minutes from me, if that,
Exactly.
if that.
Mhm.
And we have never met in person, but this is actually the second time we're seeing each other face to face. You know, we're friends on Facebook, you know, we talk, we text and stuff like that. But it's funny. So we got to change that soon. But taking and going further with it is that the more I connect with Lyric, I'm seeing that we have a lot of similarities. And it was like I knew it, but hearing it now, it's just like I relate. Like how you say you can sit down and like how you said, ask people questions. Like I love asking people questions. And I love it when they ask random different questions I never thought of. And it's just like, okay, like we're just like how you said, reading that energy, but discernment is absolutely essential for what it is when it comes to connecting with people. So let me ask you, focusing on that discernment, like how does that help you even now, like as someone who's more experienced with connecting with people, you're working with a lot of people, you're networking, how has that discernment helped you even like currently, or even if you can give an example and even stuff that you learned from it? I know it was a lot, but that's my question to you.
No, okay. So pretty much with being able to have that discernment, it's more of spirituality too.
Mhm,
So you got to have a prayer life, meditation,
mhm,
and everything. Um, Discernment for me, it allows me to, first off, when I meet somebody, it gives me that energy. It gives me a little bit of that mindset. So even if it's a little shaky, because you have that shakiness when you go around people or when you talk to people, when you start to ask individuals questions, how they respond, the things they say, or how they respond to something that you say, you automatically nah, I don't think I want to continue to deal or try to take interest or help this person,
mhm,
or this person cannot be helped. So I have several examples, but two examples that stick out: my business partner and myself. You hear me say my business partner a lot because we work for each other. We work with each other for like 20 years.
yeah,
We work with each other like 20 years, to the point that we don't have to necessarily be in the same building or the same area. We can just do our work through computer and know what each other needs,
yeah,
or from each other. But this particular day, we were going on break, so it was like, okay, let's go get lunch. We went to she was like, let's go to Jimmy Jones. I was like, nah, let's go to Pollo Tropical.
mhm,
That's the second place. And then I was like, she said another restaurant. I was like, no. I said, what about the Imperial? So
mhm,
Imperial is a store in Riviera Beach. They sell good subs, like the
mhm.
bread is fresh and everything. And she kind of looked at me crazy, like, Imperial. I was like, yeah. I was like, trust me, my mom, y'all they gave me the same look when I said they have some amazing subs. So mind you, that's four places that we were supposed to go, and we ended up in Imperial on the fifth location.
Mhm,
We went
mhm,
to Imperial. They had the worker, the lady that was back there working, that was making the sub. So I'm walking around the store getting chips. That was at the time when I was eating like subs, ham sandwiches, all that
mhm.
stuff like that. That was during that time. And we ordered a sauce, so they were back there joking. I went back there, got ourselves made. Fast forward, when we got ready to leave, the young lady gave my business partner a card. We get to the register, my business partner's like, oh, look, we can order the subs online. So I took the card. I'm like, we can't order the subs online. She's an author. Fast forward, we went, looked at the information, and I hit her up. I was like, hey, we saw that you're an author. We're interested in learning more about it. And so she gave us her story. And her story is relatable. Anybody can relate to her story, on drugs, had a family that was on drugs. Like her whole family was on drugs. Her brothers, her sisters, uncle, mom, everybody was on drugs, and everybody was getting off of drugs. So that was her story. So we decided, I was like, what is it that you want to do? This, that, and the third. We helped her, we helped her with a release, her book signing release party, her birthday party. We ended up being her managers. We ended up being her managers, helped her with a book release party, helped her with her birthday, did the photo shoots. We helped her with a second book release party. So we told her, because she was like, she was praying to the higher power, to each his own, to what they believe in, higher power, to each his own. We don't get into religions, but, she would say she was praying for it, she put it in the atmosphere. But my discernment led me there for some reason, and that was the reason. And like my business partner told her, it's a reason. There's no coincidence that we ended up there, because like she told her, we were supposed to go to 4 different locations before we ended up at that store. So we worked with her. We ended up helping her start a nonprofit, Stacey Nell Footwork Project, which we spent about 1.5 years working out. She wanted to go and help the homeless. So we ended up, going out there 1.5 years with the homeless. But myself and my business partner were already working with the homeless. We were familiar with the homeless individuals out there and everything. So we would go out there, talk to them, bring them toiletries, help them get health care, those that didn't have. We helped a couple of them get jobs. We went out there and we actually really had that conversation with them. We weren't the types that just go out there and drop food out, because there's a lot of them that they did outreach, but all they did was take food out there, sit down with them, talk like a couple of minutes, throw a couple of scriptures at them. But we actually sat down and took the time to get to know them one-on-one. Yeah. And you can find footage on YouTube on those videos that when we asked them, like, how have we helped you? Like, in what ways have we helped you guys? And one of the guys, my person that I had a one-on-one, was Bishop. He was 60 years old, very intelligent, very honest. And he was explaining that, we go out there, we sit down, we actually take the time to talk to them, see how their day is going. We actually treat them like human, because, a lot of people with homeless people, they feel like all of them are on drugs. A lot of them are not on drugs. Some may have mental issues, but a lot of them are not on drugs. A lot of them are not on drugs. Some of them do work. Some of them do work. They just don't have enough finance or that support to help them get into place. But Bishop was our special individual. Bishop could tell you the Bible inside out. A lot of them could preach the Bible, could tell you the Bible inside out, scripture for scripture. So you couldn't go out there and try to, what a lot of people don't realize, you can't go out there preaching to people. Yeah. Just treat them like human beings. Yeah. That was the one instant with discernment. Another one is there's an app called Clubhouse. I'm quite sure you're familiar with it. Sometimes I would go on stage, and I was in this one particular room, and I did the closing remark on one topic in one room. And this young lady hit me up in the inbox, and she stated that, she has some things that she had to work on. She needed help. She needed some guidance. She needed some advice. So I was like, okay, cool. Just hit me up. No problem. I'm that type of person. Just hit me up. Of course, I have 2 numbers. You don't get my main number. I have 2 numbers, or they hit me up, FaceTime me on one of the media platforms. So I was talking to her, explaining, she was explaining her situation. So I was like, why are you worried about what people say?
Yeah.
If your thought process and your belief leads you to talk about this, and you have your reasoning for why you think like this, what are you afraid for to go on your own platform and put this up? You just got to be prepared for the backlash, because you know there's going to be backlash with people saying different stuff who disagree with you. And she kept saying, well, I don't think I don't want to deal with it. I said, but then you can't get out what you're trying to do. So if you're going to say something, just say, like, if you be like, yeah, I want to do this, that, and the third, but I'm worried about, and while you're saying I'm worried about, I'll cut you out and say, what are you worried about what other people thinking about? Why? You worried about what they're thinking about, what they're going to say about what you're going to say. It's not going to get you nowhere.
Yeah.
So I did that to her because she was going into the set. She was saying the same thing over and over, and I cut her off. Oh man, it went way left. Oh my God, you just cut me off. I was like, I had to look at my phone. I was like, what's going on? You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to figure out what's going on. Yeah. And she's like, okay, I gotta get off the phone. I was like, okay, bye. So that's an individual I would never reach back out to. Yeah. Because there's some other issues going on there. And if you're looking for somebody to hold you accountable, then I'm not the person to hold you accountable if you can't deal with, that little segment right there that transpired.
Right.
Also with discernment, it keeps you, it allows you to remove yourself from places that something is going to happen. So have you ever been somewhere and you felt this dark black energy and it's like, okay, it's time to go? There's been several times that I've done that. I was like, okay, it's time to go. Or there's been places that I haven't even gone. Like, hey, let's go out. Let's go to, when Club New York was open, let's go to Club New York. And I was like, I don't think I want to go to Club New York. That same night, they end up shooting up in the parking lot of Club New York. So discernment can work in many facets, many angles and degrees. You just got to have it, and also not ignore it. Yeah. You can't ignore it. You gotta where I can't even think of the word. You just have to, it's just kind of like, you got to be tentative to it. Like if a person, you get a lot of red flags, you can't ignore those red flags, because those red flags are popping up for a reason. Right. But if you continue to ignore those red flags, then you're gonna have to deal with what comes with those red flags. It's like a warning sign. So that's what discernment kind of does for you. It kind of guides you and allows you to see things in a different light. It allows you to pay attention to individuals more. So if you feel a certain energy, I think we had this conversation before where your sister was like, I don't think you need to deal with this person, but you did it anyway. And you had to go back and say, you was right. It kind of helps you. It kind of helps you with that, and kind of focus and key in on certain things to pay attention to.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, no, that's huge. And it's good that you're listening to it as well. Like that discernment, especially with working with people, like you really have to, like I said, it's essential. You have to listen to that as well, because like I had this was actually the day I had a coworker. He was talking to me and he just looked at me. He was like, have you ever just because I had my headphones in, I was like, wait, pause, let me turn it down. Now repeat what you were saying. He was like, have you ever just been around somebody and they just drain you for like they just drain you, like it takes you a day to recharge? And I was like, I use my intuition to read that before I get involved. And he just bust out laughing, because I'm like, nah, man, like there are signs and there's feelings like when people are either talking to you or body language or things like that. And like even sometimes, even when they're talking, or the obvious signs, like I'm a hugger. So, there's this one girl, she's really, really nice. I get along with her and stuff like that. But every time I give her a hug, I always feel like this little, like, it's like a sharp pain on my side, but it's mostly because like I'm like, okay, I know she just got into a whole like accident or something like that. So she's still like recovering. But I can also tell she has a lot of like pent up like energy and stuff like that. So it's just like, it's something that I've noticed. It wasn't never anything like, stay away from her, she's horrible. It's like, yeah, you got a lot of stuff you got to like heal and let out and work out. So it's just like paying attention to those signs and being aware, because like you said, just, most people is not saying that people are bad. It's just like, you just have to read and know how to maneuver, and like how you were saying before with the person, like if they can't hold themselves accountable with that, then I don't need to be reaching out and stuff. So I totally get that. There was something else I was going to ask you, just like in working with people, because there's going to be a couple of parts of this. So the first question is, would you say you're an introvert, an extrovert, or an ambivert? Which one would you say you are?
Oh, it's like, you like people, but you don't like people. I would say I'm an introvert, and a lot of people may not be like, nah, you be talking to a lot of people, you network with a lot of people, but a lot of times I just like to be by myself.
Yeah.
I don't like to be around a lot of people, and the people I am around, it's just like my circle of people.
Yeah.
No more than 5. Like I don't be like, it's kind of like, okay, I'll go hang out. Don't go clubs no more. Been done with clubs. But I don't know. I just don't. I'll get to know people, see what is it that they need, and it's more on a business spectrum, if that makes sense. But mainly introvert. I would say introvert to an extent. With a tab of extrovert, if I have to, if need be.
Okay.
And that's more like out in a networking environment, events that's networking, because even if I'm going out to dinner or just to hang out in a small setting, I'm still working because I'm gonna network while I'm out.
Yeah.
It never stops. I'm gonna meet somebody, a waitress, waiter, bartender. I'm gonna meet somebody when I'm out. It's a given.
Yeah.
At least I tell people to try to at least meet 1 or 2 new people a day.
Okay.
So it helps. You never know who you run into.
Right. Okay. Yeah. So then another part is, how do you recharge?
How do I recharge? Oh, that's a good question. It's kind of hard because it's kind of hard for me to recharge because I'm also a full-time caretaker. I have weekends that I could get away for a couple of hours, couple of days. I go volunteer. I help run a food pantry that we run every 2nd and 4th of each month. That's kind of like a little getaway. I'm a bartender. I have a bartender company. So when I do these events and everything, that helps to recharge. And then sometimes I just read. I like to read. I'm a habitual reader. I read, research, do a lot of research, preferably on just like the history of us, our melanated people, looking at different cases that deals with our people. Whereas it's killings, whereas it's unsolved mysteries, just things that pertain to our culture in general. Learning more about, getting more involved and educate myself on politics. That's more of my recharge. It's not much of a relaxation because even with the relaxation, I'm still doing something.
Yeah. Okay. I like that. It's like an active recharge in a way.
Yeah.
Which is cool. Definitely. Okay, I like that. I like
Oh,
that.
and one more. I have a green thumb, so I like to garden.
Really?
I like to be in the garden. It's peaceful. Um, it's a great mental vindicator. And then another one of my side hobbies is I'm an edible chef. So
Okay,
that
okay.
also allows me kind of like in a science lab,
Mm-hmm.
chemistry lab, look at it in those aspects and always coming up with different things. So things that could just keep my mind and hands on. I like to build things. I like to work on cars. Those are my like mental vindicators right there.
Okay, okay. Wow, you're very well rounded. I like that. It's a bit of everything. I like that. No, that's really cool.
An
Okay.
African drummer.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. So wait, do you go to any of the drum circles? Like,
Yes, living the rhythm. I haven't been in a while because I've been so busy.
mhm.
But living the rhythm was started by one of my good friends, my boy Abasi, also known as Man Black. They have every Wednesday down at the what is the museum that's downtown?
Wait, museum down, not Norton.
Flagler, yeah,
Flagler.
Norton. Oh
Okay,
no,
okay.
they're at the Norton on Wednesdays, and then out on Okeechobee at the farm on Thursdays. So
Wait, pause. The farm you're talking about with Patricia and right, Raheem, right?
yeah, uh-huh.
Ah, I gotta get them.
Hmm.
I gotta get them on this podcast.
Yeah,
They are awesome. I have yet to go to the farm yet.
it's
How's
nice.
that? Okay.
It's nice out there. It's nice out there. I
Okay.
haven't seen it in the daytime because I've only been out there at the night in the night, the
Yeah.
drum and everything. But it's nice. It's real
Oh,
nice. Lot of space too. It's very nice out there. Just
okay.
bring your if you go at night, just bring your bug repellent because the mosquitoes are horrible.
Yeah, I know. I know. That's probably why I haven't been
Mhm.
because I don't do mosquitoes. But okay, I
Yeah,
gotta check it out. But
very
no, go. What were you gonna say? What were you gonna say?
yeah, very. It's a very nice elemental aura out there. Very.
Okay. Okay. No, I have to check that out. And so guys, what who we're talking about is Patricia and Raheem. So I hope that's Raheem, right? I'm making sure I
Mhm.
say his name. Okay, okay, okay. Because I want to be like, yeah, I was talking about you, but I'll say your name all wrong. Okay, so Patricia and Raheem, they're really, really, really an awesome couple. They have a vegan restaurant. But it was the New Vegan in
Mhm.
Delray. They had it in West Palm for a bit, and I think they had their. I have not been to the. I think they're the first ever drive through in Lake Worth. I'm not sure. I could be.
I'm not sure.
Yeah, I don't want to give y'all wrong information, but this couple is amazing, and I know that they decided to go, as we were talking about, this farm,
Mhm.
and have drum circles. And there's more. I have yet to go there, but there's someone I have to have on the podcast. Like I was saying, they're very, very down to earth, very, very nice. Love their energy. Yes, I had to let them know, like, okay, so who is these people they try to talk about? Anyways,
Yeah.
yeah, okay, okay, awesome. Also, going into our culture and stuff like that. So
Mhm.
one of the things I'm gonna start off with, I I love your hair. So,
Thank
and I've
you.
always loved your hair. So,
Thank you.
very welcome. How? No, not how. Why did you decide to go on your lock journey? If you feel comfortable sharing.
Um, for me, so I actually started when I was 21. I was in college and I got tired of, I had length on my hair and
Mm-hmm.
I would go and get it done at the hair salon. The beautician, the stylist, she over processed my hair. And
Mm-hmm.
when I would get it done, I would just go work it out, go sweat it out by working out or playing basketball at the Leach with my squad,
Mm-hmm.
with the some of the alumni from FSU and FAMU. So I was like, you know what? This is my 21st birthday. I'm just gonna lock it up because I was already doing a 2-strand twist.
Yeah.
So during that process, you go through your phases. You
Mm-hmm.
go through the phases just like you go through phases of your life, and you evolve.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of growth and a lot of evolve. So you look at each year, there's some growth. But then I tell a lot of people you should be evolving every day. There
Yeah.
should be something evolving. You should be learning something. You should be expanding your mind with something every single day.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you should be trying to encourage somebody every single day. And it just went from there. So when I look at other individuals, they'd be like, oh, I was thinking about starting it, but I don't like the ugly phase. But I was like, the ugly phase, you appreciate it more versus the individuals that start off with yarn in their hair or start off with Afro kinky hair, or they go purchase. Nothing against them, but you appreciate the journey more when you start from the beginning.
Yeah.
And you let it grow out, because you got to remember my hair was straight.
Okay.
Shoulder length straight, and me twisting it. So, you know, all the perm had to grow out and everything. Yeah. But then you have other individuals that are purchasing locks to be put in their head. Yeah. Now, I know there's a process of them having the locks clean and all this stuff. That's cool and dandy, but you still have spirits and energies attached to those locks. Mm-hmm. So that is something that I could never, I wouldn't want to attach somebody else's hair to my head to get their energy and stuff. And like I said, people, they get them, they put them in, and it's like, you know, one day they got like a short hair, then the next day they have long locks. And you be like, yo, like the journey is more of a journey. It's the process. So you know how they say you have a process. If you follow the process, it works. That meaning if you continue to do what it is in that process over that process is going to work.
Yeah.
And if you follow the process, if you mess up, you can always go back in the process where you messed up and figure out where's the kink at in the process. Mm-hmm. You know, and a lot of people, it goes with like, people want it quick. People want it to turn. They want things to happen immediately. But things can't happen quickly if you don't put in the work. You don't do the necessary steps to do what it is to get what you want, to get where you want to be at.
Right.
You know,
right.
So that's how they all, I just tied that all into the lock journey to, you know, just tied it all in together. But yeah, that's, and I think also, when you talk about the culture, people do it for many reasons, and some people do it for the wrong reason. It's really not a fashion fad per se, because some people do it for fashion. It's not a fashion. Me personally, it's not a fashion fad. I can say that off real. It's more about, like I said, a journey, a process. As you go through in your life, a journey, a process. You go through your ugly phases, which means your good days, your bad days.
Yeah.
And then you have your growth. You're growing on a daily basis. You know, how are you improving yourself? Your hair grows because you take care of your hair. You got to keep it healthy. You take care of your hair, it grows. You don't take care of your hair, it doesn't grow. You take care of yourself, you stay healthy. You're able to move. You're able to do the things that you do. You know, you take care of your insides. It helps your organ. It helps your blood. It helps your internal self. You know, so that's kind of like that journey, the evolvement, the growth that you have in your life.
Yeah.
But yeah.
No, like that's beautiful. Like how you tied it all in, you just tied it together. Because I mean, I feel the exact same way with everything that you said, because I've seen people, like you said, they grow their hair for different reasons and stuff like that. Like, and some people, how they just got into their journey of it, it's very interesting. But like how you said, it is a journey. I remember when people, like, I hear it a little bit more often. I was like, I don't want to go through the ugly phase. And I'm just like, it's not an ugly phase. It's, I mean, it's your hair is growing. Like, you're building a relationship with your hair. I mean, like, how do you know how your hair is going to respond when you do certain things, or, you know, incorporate different oils, whatever it is you want to take care of your hair with? And so, you know, it's like, that's part of the journey. I know for me, I grew my hair out and I it was long already, but
Mhm.
I just knew like the ancestors was telling me like, yeah, it's time to lock up, and I was just like, oh, I knew this day was gonna come, but I was just like,
Cause
my
you
God.
had an afro. You had a big
Yeah,
afro.
I
Yeah.
did, and I was just like, but after I was like thinking, I was like, well, that means I don't have to get up and do this motherfucker every day.
Mhm.
So I was like, but after a while, then I decided. I will say the first time I got my hair locked, I a little part of me was dying inside because of like how she had to lock my hair. Like
Uh-huh.
it was because I'm so used to like combing it out, getting the knots out. So when I went in, I already washed, da, da, da. She was like, yeah. So she was just talking to me, and then she was parting it. And then it was like I could hear like rip, like, yep, and then she was just like combing it. I was like, oh my God. I was like, just that thought of like I could never get that knot out. But of course, that's a process. So she did it or whatever. And then afterwards, I was like, okay, I'm here. I've done it.
Yeah.
But, since then, from then to now, it's just like you said, it is that journey. And also seeing like, how some people take care of their hair, their locks and stuff like that. I know some people who get their locks done every few weeks. Could not be
Mhm.
me. I couldn't do it. I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna let this new growth grow for maybe 3 months, maybe five
Mhm.
months,
Yep.
maybe six. We gonna see. And I was like, yes, it's because it's like thick, and I'm like, I like it thick because I see some people, their locks, and I can just tell like, you're doing too much. But you know what? Hey, that's you.
Yeah.
So, but is just having that journey, and then I remember with having locks, I know some people say, well, if you have locks, you can't do styles, you can't do many styles, and it's just like, no, you can do a bunch of styles.
You can do a lot.
Exactly, you got to get creative. And it's interesting too, because like kind of going with cultures is very interesting, learning about just how other cultures in the melanated community view locks, and it's just
Mhm.
very interesting. And it's something I'm learning, like, and when I say this, I'm not speaking for nobody, but I have another coworker. So he's Haitian, and he was telling me how he was like, yeah, his parents hate his locks. He was just like, just having his hair, stuff like that, but he loves it and stuff like
Mhm.
that. But it's just like the view on it is different, you
Mhm.
know. Of course, every culture sees the hair different, but it was just like just his family's view on it. But I love how his hair is long, and he just rocks it like that's what he loves and
Mhm.
stuff like that. And then there's other cultures where their locks are their power, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? And it's just like I love learning these things. I'm like, I'm curious, like where did this? And then they take it back, and it's pretty cool. But I love our hair, just like in our culture, just a lot of symbolism. And I can't even say symbolism, but even just experiences with just having, your hair like locked, or even if it's not locked, just your experiences with growing your hair and that whole journey. Um,
Mhm.
which I have another question for you when it comes to hair. So like, what are your thoughts on when people cut their hair? Because I'm curious what your experience or background may have been with that, and then I'll share mine. So what is your experience with it?
Um, I mean, sometimes I feel like if a person want to cut their hair, they cut their hair. I've had a cousin. She's had 4 sets
Mm-hmm.
of locks.
Yeah.
She's on her last set. She's done. So she had like a short bob. She had long hair, long braids. She locked up. She cut it. She had a buzz cut. She locked up again, cut it, had braids. Now she's on her last. So sometimes people will cut their hair to start over.
Yeah.
I look at it as more of a fresh start for some people,
Mm-hmm.
because I've had a friend. I had a friend that had long locks, and she cut them. She cut them because of a abusive relationship that she was in once before. And so cutting the locks, it got rid of all that energy and everything back then. It was like a refresh start. And sometimes people just go through those changes, kind of like a person that has OCD and they have to change their living room around every 3 months.
Yeah.
They kind of go through that. Was like, oh, I don't want my hair, and they'll go chop it, no problem. Or back out, chop it again. So it just depends on. It could be a season. It could be a variety of reasons why. I'm indifferent. I'm neutral. It doesn't bother me or nothing like that. But I do know of cultures and individuals that have it. Oh, you shouldn't cut your hair, or this, that, and the third. You know, they have their own beliefs about that.
Yeah. Okay. Interesting. And I love as like everything that you said, because I know for myself, I've had to, like, growing up, I my experience with it was, so I came into the world with long hair. Like they had to wash my hair 5 times before they even gave it to my mom. So that was just a whole thing in itself. And then it was grown out for some time. And then after a while, my mom just like cut my hair. My grandmother was livid, but very livid. She called my mom all the names in the books and then some. So I realized that, and this was just my experience before I knew, but I realized that every time my hair was longer or longish, I was feeling good. But when my hair got cut, I just was in this serious, or kind of like, I wouldn't say a low state, but more kind of like I can't put it. I was, if you want to say happy and feeling good is a higher state, then I was more so like annoyed and I'm just here. And it was a lower state, right?
Okay.
And so I just noticed, like, every time, like, it was like, oh, you look good with your haircut, you got your waves. And I'm just like, get out of my face. You know what I mean? And so after I got older, my mom was like, all right, you can do whatever you want with your hair, whatever. So I grew it out and I just noticed, like, God, I felt better. I felt more freer. I felt more myself. And then learning later on, kind of like in our culture as well, like in my family's culture, there's Native American. So just like learning how that view was, like, you know, when cutting your hair is either signifying some type of loss, or cutting your hair, like you said, a reset, or it's just like you said, it has a lot of like emotions and stuff. And so one of the things that I learned more with our culture was like how the longer the hair is, one is kind of like it increases your senses, like being able to sense stuff. And then secondly, it was just like the emotions, like you can feel deeper. And so even looking at the sciences and like the tests, like when there was trackers, like in the Native American culture, I forget which tribe, but when they had long hair, they were able to track better. But when they cut their hair, their tracking skills just like declined and stuff like that. So it was just like, it was interesting, like looking at the study, and I'm like, this kind of feels like similar. Like I noticed I feel when I'm out and I can just pick up on stuff. But when my hair was cut, I just felt like someone just, yeah. And it's crazy. So it's like, even now, like I notice, and then my hair is longer. Yes, I can still, like you were talking about energy, I can sense stuff, but I notice like wrapping my hair up. I can wrap it up when I'm going to bed. That's no problem, but I can't keep it wrapped. It's just like something in me is just like, you need to let this out and let it breathe in, or it's like, it needs to be, I don't know, it's weird, but it's just like, it's interesting learning these things about just kind of like hair, and then even the sciences with it. But I've also had to learn growing up is like, you know, not everybody like that, and not everybody, they can like, oh, you know what, I just want to go shave it all off, and I'm just like, I would die, you know what I mean? And it's just like, but hey, they're not me. Experiences. So let me sit in my seat here, and they ask me, what are your thoughts? And I'm like, it's your body, your choice. So
exactly,
that's how you feel. Just don't come to me later and like, I should have never did it. And I'm like, But that's that. I did want to ask you, more on a serious note, is so in the beginning we talked about what you said was impact. And so focusing on impact, one of the questions that I wanted to ask was like and I'm sure you've said it, but just to get on it even more is like impact. How would you say you specifically impact others? And what does that mean to you, impact?
Impact. So coming from me, what I do a lot of uplifting. I do a lot of encouragement. I'm a good listener. So I listen to people talk and just hear what they have to say.
Yeah.
And I'm the type of people, I'm non-judgmental because nobody's perfect.
Yeah.
Like, except I'm quick to tell people if the people that are around you cannot accept you with your flaws, then you may need to reevaluate you guys' friendship, relationship, or whatever it is. Because if you call this circle of people your friends or what have you, they should be able to accept you with your flaws, because quite naturally they have their own flaws as well. So impacting is motivating, encouraging. It could be as simply, hey, good morning. How you doing? You never know, that may brighten up somebody's day. Person, complete. You can go through the line in the grocery store. Cashier may be sad. May have like you feel their energy. And you may be like, hey, good morning. How you doing? Just a simple conversation, which a lot of people have fallen away from. Everybody is not that. It's not that friendly, man. I'll just say friendly. They don't have no manners, some of them.
Yeah.
Just a simple thank you. But for me, like I said, mostly it's just listening, encouraging. And when I do listen, I look at everything from different perspectives. And if you want my feedback, if I'm giving you a constructive criticism or constructive feedback, I'm going to give you 3 or 4 different angles to look at, because at the end of the day, you got to make the decision. I don't have to live with the decision that you make. And if you have in your mind whatever you're going to make, then, and if I feel like I'm wasting my breath, then I'm not going to continue to try to encourage you or continue to give you that advice if you know you're going to already made up in your mind what you're going to do.
Yeah.
Impact. And just helping people, try to help people reach their goals, help them do what it is that they're trying to do. Kind of like be that fire up under them. You give them that push, holding them accountable. That's more impact. And if you can change, you can make that one person better each day, make a person better. It could be the smallest thing, brighten up somebody else's life. The smallest thing, like I said, a simple good morning or hello, how you doing? Just speaking to that person, that can brighten up that person's day. And that could be an impact, but just a simple word of encouragement that can, change that person's day. You may have said something impactful to that person, and you not even know it. And then they come back to you and say, remember when you said this, that, and the third, blah, 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 blah. This helped me during that time. And another thing that helps is, even though you may be dealing with something, volunteering somewhere. Go volunteer somewhere. When you volunteer or when you reach out to help others, that helps you get through whatever it is that you're going through. Wow. So, yeah.
I like that. Okay. And then I would say, so my last question though is a two-part question.
It's two-part.
Two-part question. My last question, which is two-part. It's a two-part. So with everything shared, what would you say is I call it your TGA. So what would you say is your talent or gift or ability, your lyrics, talent, gift, or ability? What would you say that is?
Talent, gift. Oh man. Let me think about that. I think I would say, because I have, anybody can have talents,
Mm-hmm.
right? Anybody can have talents. I believe anybody can have talents, but it's your gifting. I would say, hmm, if I had to say anything, just thinking about everything that I do, I would say my gifting would probably be uh, having the capability to connect with people,
Mm-hmm.
having the capability to connect with people, and having patience. I would say having the ability to connect with people and having patience. And I learned that patience by being my grandmother's caretaker.
Yeah. Okay.
And that's you will learn patience and just being able to connect with people that goes along with your interpersonal skills.
Yeah.
How to deal with people, how to handle people. Uh, yeah, I think that's what I would say.
Okay. Okay. And then the second part, though, again, I'm sure you said it already, but I'm just gonna ask anyways.
Mhm.
Would you say that you're using your gift to make the world a better place?
I would say yes. I would say yes because it's no coincidence that I come into contact with people or people reach out to me.
Mm-hmm.
Um, the thousands of people that I've come into contact with or even had conversation with over social media, and I can say a couple of those, we're like actually friends. Like text,
Yeah.
hey, how you doing? How's everything going? Build that friendship.
Yeah.
So I would say yes because like I said, I listen to stories after stories and given perspective and many different angles. Just given, how can I put this? I make individuals look at things from different perspectives that they would not have even thought to think about. I make them pay attention to the smallest things that no one has ever told them or said anything to them about.
Mm-hmm.
So I just give them a whole different outlook on things and allow them to make themselves think differently in different lanes instead of that commonality of thinking, that same process. So it's kind of like, how a person is familiar with this, they're familiar, that's why they're so comfortable. But when they're out of a familiar zone, it becomes uncomfortable. So I make them step out their zone and get a little uncomfortable. Get out
Yeah.
your comfort zone and step out and get in an unfamiliar arena,
Mm-hmm.
to make yourself think a little more, see things in a different light, to grow, to help yourself grow,
Yeah.
and better yourself.
Yeah. Okay. I love that. I love that. That was beautiful. That was literally beautiful. I thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Okay. Okay. So that was the end of my question, but this is a different question. But
Okay.
do you have any questions or anything that you want to share before we kind of like end the episode and things like that? Is there anything that came to mind? Anything like that?
Uh, a message I will say is, regardless of, this is for just in general, regardless of your situations or circumstances, uh, it's only temporarily.
Mm-hmm.
But how you handle those situations or circumstances will determine how long you stay within that storm.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So anything you go through is only temporary. It's just based upon your reactions, how you act to it. And don't, don't worry about what people say, the naysayers. Um, you can listen to them, you can hear them say it, but it's up to you whether you accept it or not. Meaning, it's up to you whether you receive what they say and take it in and take it to heart,
Mm-hmm.
or are you just gonna let it go in and go out one ear, one of the other ear? And I would say, you can hear it, but you ain't got to receive it. You ain't got to accept it, because you got to know who you are, be comfortable with yourself.
Right.
anything that is not positive, that doesn't align with your morals, your values, anybody that is not rooting for you or pushing you to do better, to do greater, then you probably need to reevaluate those individuals that you're surrounded by.
Yes. That's beautiful. Like, guys, that's everything. Because I was thinking about some scenarios. I was like, oh, I remember when I had to tell myself this is temporary. Like, but like that's huge. That's very huge. Definitely, just like how you handle that. That's key. That's key. That's a beautiful message. Thank you for that. Thank you for that. And then, of course, I have to ask you this: is how can people reach out to you? Your social medias, different things like that. How can they reach out?
Okay, so I'm on TikTok. My name on TikTok is Vibe, VYBE_LA. I try to put up videos, but I'm not too much on there. I'm trying to get up there because I'm mostly on Instagram. On Instagram, it's Peace of Mind _Vibe LA. And then I have a podcast, a Peace of Mind podcast. We have 3 different platforms. We have Check My Flow, which is for my artists, producers, my writers, anybody in the music industry. We have Let's Talk, where we generally talks about anything from the sun to the moon, just a raw conversation. And then we have the Basis of Perseverance, which, you on, good conversation. Basis of Perseverance. So you can catch me on any of those platforms. If you would like to be a guest on any of those platforms, please reach out to me. And yeah, thank you for having me on again.
But of course. I'm excited to have you on. I mean, it's a long time coming. Thank you. Thank you for your patience with me.
Oh, no problem. Listen, sometimes you have to step back and take a breather and do a reset. I definitely understand.
Yeah,
definitely understand.
For sure. Yeah, Lyric. I've been communicating with Lyric because, as you guys know, who've been following the podcast, like your boy had to stop a couple of times and really get things together. And it's like, now, okay, we're in a better space now. So again, and I've been communicating with her. She's been very understanding. And, she's even been helping me out just with some stuff that I was working on. So you're amazing. Thank you, Larry.
Thank you. Thank you.
Of course. So with that being said, guys, I hope you all have a fantastic day, a fantastic evening. I'm pretty sure you got tons of nuggets just out of this episode with me and Larry. So thank you for pressing play. And guys, I look forward to speaking with you all on the next episode and also on the social media platform. So that being said, guys, you all enjoy the rest of your day. Later.